The woman who was to explode taboos on race and sexuality wherever she went was born in St. Louis in 1906 and grew up illegitimate, largely uneducated, and poor. These were volatile times. America was deeply segregated. Whites enshrined their supremacy in laws, the Jim Crow laws.
I was taught to believe that I was inferior, like many, many colored peoples of the world who were taught every day to feel inferior to white people.
She must have been 13 at the time of the riots in East St. Louis. She saw all the people fleeing across the Mississippi on the bridge coming over. I think that made a very big impression on her.
Josephine danced her way out of St. Louis on the grueling black vaudeville circuit.
It was a very rough circuit. Basic tent was set up, often in a clearing or a hollow on the edge of the town. This is where blacks could go for these sort of weekend entertainments. They were a famously difficult audience. If they loved you, they really loved you. If they didn't, they really didn't. And so I think that her high spirits and her energy sort of conquered this circuit. She was clearly sort of born to stand out.
By the time Josephine arrived in New York in 1921, a creative maelstrom was erupting across the city in the dazzling array of black talent and ambition later defined as the Harlem Renaissance, and she was about to make the most of it.
Just wild about Harry, and Harry's wild about me.
If black performers wanted to play in mixed theatres, they had to black up. The audience then presumed they were white. Paradoxically, on occasion, they also had to lighten up.
Everything ultimately in American performance revolves largely around issues of race. In Shuffle Along in New York in 1921, all of the chorus girls in the black musicals all looked like they were white, but they were all black. And Baker was small, she was darker than the rest of the girls, was not considered attractive, and she already was doing her special stuff at the end of the line.
Part of the luck of her career is that as the Harlem Renaissance was taking off, so was Josephine Baker.
Despite the attention Josephine was starting to receive, she sensed she had progressed as far as a black woman could in 1920s America. So when she was offered the opportunity to join an all-black revue show opening in Paris, she jumped at the chance. Summoning all her courage, she was only 19, she sailed to Europe for the first time.
1925, wasn't it, when you went to Paris first of all? What was Josephine Baker like in 1925?
Josephine Baker at that moment was a very frightened girl. Yes, frightened because, you see, there were special reasons for that fright, the uncertainty. Josephine Baker was the girl who left St. Louis to come to Europe to find freedom.
Josephine Baker would never have gotten anywhere with her dance in Revue Negre in 1925 New York, whereas it turned 1925 Paris on its head.
In France, there were no Jim Crow laws. In fact, there was a desire on the part of the French to embrace all things African.
The French were colonizing Africa at the time. The majority of people genuinely believed they were doing good things. And so Negro art was very popular.
In 1925, just months before La Revue Negre, we had had the Great Art Deco exhibition. So you have artists who are showing a great deal of interest in African art. And then somebody like Josephine comes along and they think that that somehow is the sculpture from their paintings that have come to life.
Some people were absolutely outraged by those black ladies showing themselves almost completely nude on stage, dancing in a way which was very provocative, and Josephine Baker was the best of them all.
It was like Stravinsky's Rite of Spring. It just set people crazy, and some people thought this was like the end of European civilization as we know it, you know, and the battlefield being Josephine Baker's bum.
Yes, you're driving me crazy. What did I do? What did I do? My tears for you make everything hazy, clouding the skies of blue.
That black dancing body stood in stark contrast to the monarchical, hierarchical, vertically aligned body of European ballet. She disrupted that picture with all of the movements that actually go right back to minstrelsy. The shimmy, the mouche, the mess around, the Charleston, all of these things which in the European mode would be considered awkward, become beautiful, sexy, silly, and savvy all at the same time.